Security cameras across America have captured shocking things like this. Bone-chilling creatures like these. Mysterious entities like this one here. And this terrifying sight caught outside a home in Arizona. These are the weirdest and wildest security camera footage ever. On the 15th of June, 2022, a man in a horrifying mask showed up outside this home in Portland, Oregon. It was around 1:30 a.m., and the creepiest part was that he kept signaling to someone else nearby. Yet nobody else appeared on camera. So either this man was schizophrenic, or someone was staying just out of frame on purpose. He eventually walked away, and no one knows why he was there in the first place. Crawling woman. In March 2023, a homeowner in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, was reviewing his security footage when he saw this. Just 2 days before that, this woman had appeared outside his home. She was crawling directly toward his front door. Her movements were really unsettling and unnatural, but what disturbed him even more was that the camera didn't catch her leaving, so he didn't know how she just disappeared. To this day, he doesn't know if she was in need of help or possessed. Zombie mystery. On October 9th, 2024, a homeowner in Wilmington, Delaware had set up a trail cam near his house for security. It usually caught deer or raccoons passing through, but this night was different. The camera caught what looked like an actual zombie. Its skin was grotesque. It looked disfigured with hollow eyes, and its clothes were ragged and covered in filth. When the homeowner watched the footage the next day, he couldn't decide if it was a real zombie or just someone wandering around in a terrifying costume. What do you think? Comment below. Farm intruder. A farmer in Billings, Montana noticed his animals acting scared for weeks, so he installed a security camera in the barn. That's when it captured what was scaring them. A tall, pale creature appeared at the fence. It looked grotesque and absolutely terrifying. The guard dogs held their ground and didn't let it pass, so instead of climbing over, the creature eventually left. The farmer moved his flock to a different pen and immediately increased security around the property. Sudden shift. This is one of the most disturbing things ever caught on a street camera. A man was walking alone late at night in Detroit, Michigan, when his body suddenly started jerking in a really unsettling way. He went down to the ground, and then his entire form began to change. Within moments, what had been a man turned into a dog completely and ran away, leaving the clothes behind. Fence ghost. A CCTV camera behind a private property in San Jose, Costa Rica, recorded an unexplainable sight. I need you to watch carefully. A white figure appeared out of nowhere and moved straight toward the fence, and then simply passed right through it. It was shaped like a person, but it wasn't a person, because no human can walk through a solid fence, and it was as white as a ghost. Just as mysteriously as it appeared, it vanished into nothing. Although this was the first and last time it showed up on camera, the homeowner is still terrified. Cat or Skinwalker. When a man had gone out for a walk in Memphis, Tennessee, he saw a terrifying creature on the road. It had the body shape of a cat, but that was where the similarities ended. Its face was completely blank, and its skin was almost furless. It stayed frozen in one position the entire time. He kept recording it with not even a single twitch. He thought it was a skinwalker trying to disguise itself as a cat and didn't get too close. Porch orb.
Hey, mister, what is that?
A doorbell camera outside a home in Savannah, Georgia caught something bizarre one night. A glowing white orb appeared on the porch out of nowhere, moving around erratically like it had a mind of its own, and it seemed to be made of electric charge. The homeowners that were watching through their camera feed didn't dare step outside. They were too confused and frightened. After 20 minutes, it simply vanished, and they still have no idea what it was. Terrifying woman. In Raipur village, Chhattisgarh, India, a family had been hearing loud banging on their door every single night, so they set up a camera. And what it revealed left them horrified. A woman in a sari was standing at their door, but there was nothing above her shoulders. She kept pounding at the door repeatedly, and what confused the family even more was that ghosts are believed to pass through closed doors, so they had no idea what she actually was. The family hasn't revealed whether she stopped coming back or not. Unwanted guest. The security camera outside this home in Phoenix, Arizona, caught something seriously unsettling one night. A woman appeared at the edge of the property, glancing around to make sure no one was watching. Then she started trying to find a way in. Her behavior was erratic and really creepy. The camera couldn't catch what she did after entering the property, and shockingly didn't see her leave too, which meant she must have used another exit. After seeing this video the next morning, the homeowner filed a report immediately. The woman has not been identified yet. Rake encounter. In July 2018, a camera in Ballard, Uinta County in Utah recorded a terrifying creature. It looked pale and furless, with long, slender limbs. 2 days later, while driving, the same man claimed he saw it again nearly 2 miles away from his home. It crawled out of a bush and crossed the road using those same thin limbs. Although it didn't do anything dangerous, the man was still freaking out because Ballard is located to the northwest of the Skinwalker Ranch. Roadblock. Traffic on a busy road in Guadalajara, Mexico came to a complete standstill one night, not because of a signal failure, but because of something in the middle of the road that nobody could explain. A terrifying creature was crossing the road. It had long, crooked legs, and there were 2 long tails behind it. The creature looked like it had stepped out of a nightmare. All the drivers were too scared to step out of their cars. It eventually moved out of the way, and no one in that area saw it ever again. What do you think that was? Crawling entity. At 1:25 a.m., a security camera in Fresno, California, captured something that has left everyone speechless. Something was moving through the street on all 4s, but it wasn't an animal. It looked like a female figure with long black hair and a white dress. The figure kept its face pointed upward while crawling, so we don't get a close look of that. Now the real question is, what was that? And if this scared you, stick around for the next security camera footage, because that's truly shocking. Bizarre creature. On the 10th of May, 2017, this woman from Akron, Ohio, was doing her chores, completely unaware that her home security camera was about to pick up something terrifying. I want you to focus on the balcony. When she left, a pale creature appeared at the balcony's entrance. Its movements were really slow, and for some reason, it didn't enter the area. The woman saw this security footage a week later, and now she keeps those doors locked every night, fearing it might return. Vanishing man. At 1:46 a.m., a woman's security camera captured a strange moment outside her home in Salem, Oregon. A figure that looked like a man was walking and then simply vanished into thin air. When she uploaded the video, someone living just 2 miles away shared something equally chilling. A mysterious glow appeared at their building's elevator, and a hooded figure stepped out. But the elevator doors never opened, meaning he either passed through solid metal or teleported from somewhere else entirely. The man's identity was completely hidden beneath his hoodie in both videos. Now it's time to openly discuss the most shocking security camera footage. A homeowner named Cassandra Smith from Tempe, Arizona, noticed something strange on her parking area security camera one night. A figure was out there in the parking area, moving in the most unsettling way imaginable. Cassandra couldn't understand what creature it was, but then it stood up on 2 legs and walked away casually. That's when she realized it was a human. Turns out, that person had been crawling with their face upwards. She was so shaken that she refused to walk to her car alone at night after that. Cassandra Sandra also asked her neighbors if they recognized the person, but nobody did. Terrifying reptilianoid. 2 years ago, a man had stepped out late at night near the woods, bordering his property in Asheville, North Carolina, just to get some fresh air. But that decision was a huge mistake, because this terrifying creature caught his eye. It looked like a huge reptilian figure with a massive hump on its back. It was running upright on humanoid legs, and it had a thick, long tail. It ran out of view fast and went into hiding, clearly because it didn't want anyone to see it. He recorded as much as he could before his survival instincts kicked in, and he went back home. Strange pool creature. Take a look at this backyard surveillance camera footage from Nashville, Tennessee. On the 5th of July, 2017, a strange entity approached the pool at 3:30 a.m. It began drinking from it. Its form wasn't clear at all, maybe because it didn't have a solid physical form. After drinking, it disappeared just as quietly as it had arrived. Although it didn't do anything dangerous, the homeowners are terrified that it might return. Street ghosts. A guard in Leon, Mexico, was reviewing security footage when he saw something he couldn't explain. The street was completely empty, and then, out of nowhere, a dark shape appeared and began crossing the road. It looked like a shadow, walking. A few seconds later, another shape appeared right behind it just as mysteriously, and both vanished on the other side of the street. The guard was convinced the camera captured two ghosts. Do you agree? Sudden transformation. Take a close look at this and tell me what just happened. A CCTV camera in Jakarta, Indonesia, caught an animal moving along the street late at night. It was on all fours, but then, in a matter of seconds, it transformed. It stood up on two legs and began walking like a person. How did that even happen? Was he a real shapeshifter? Howling entity. This man in Richmond, Virginia, he began hearing loud howling noises from the trees behind his property. He was really confused because there weren't any native wolves in Virginia, and he didn't have dogs either. He turned and saw a white figure walking out of the trees. The creepiest part is that it was shaped like a human. The man got so scared that he rushed back inside, and to this day, he doesn't know what it was. Trail cam ghost. A man drove out to Shawnee National Forest in Illinois to capture some animals. After setting up a trail cam, he was looking for the rest of his gear from the trunk. That's when the camera caught a ghostly figure walking among the trees. He didn't see it at that time, but when he reviewed the footage later that night, he realized what had been behind him. After that, the man left the forest because he was terrified. Missing half. This one is genuinely hard to explain. A group of friends were spending time together when someone walked past them. Only that person didn't have anything below the waist. One of the friends noticed the mysterious person, but before he could tell the others, they all started screaming and running away from something. It seems like something else must have happened just out of frame, but we weren't able to see it. What do you think they saw? Haunted home. After buying a new home in Newark, Delaware, this couple thought it would bring a good change in their lives, but they were wrong. After 2 months, another evil presence made itself known. It pulled the chair from under the woman so fast, she didn't have time to regain her balance. And after that, there was complete chaos in the house. The camera caught doors slamming on their own, objects flying mysteriously, and even the man lost control of himself. After this terrifying encounter that lasted for 10 minutes, they decided to move out. Shocking disappearance.
If you were a liar, you might say you were and
then just disappears.
5 years ago, a homeowner named James Hartwell from Lexington, Kentucky, couldn't understand what his home security camera captured. A man was walking across the driveway late at night, passing right by the parked cars. And then, in an instant, He was gone. He shared this video with his neighbors, and nobody has ever been able to identify him. His disappearance didn't seem like a camera glitch either.
See, if you were a liar, you might say you were enjoying
Then just
the cup.
disappears.
Room thief.
Mames, si es el duende que me roba mis calcetines.
You need to see this. A man in Columbus, Ohio had been losing personal items from his room for weeks, and one day he finally found the culprit. Hiding under his bed was a small, creepy gray creature. As he kept recording, it crawled out and bolted across the floor, disappearing right under the door. It looked just like a small goblin, and before he could chase it down, it was gone, along with any chance of finding his missing belongings. But to his relief, nothing else went missing after that day.
Ya nos vio el güey, cállate.
Antique store ghost. In September 2014, a store owner at Barnsley Antique Centre in South Yorkshire, England, noticed his glass cabinet door was shattered completely. Fearing someone had broken in, he checked the CCTV, only to realize the truth was much darker. Keep watching to find out. The door had shattered completely on its own. There was nobody anywhere near it when it happened. The owner couldn't find a single scientific explanation for why it would break like that, and believed a ghost was responsible. Jinn encounter.
يا ملعون يا لعين.
Paranormal investigator Hassan Barbar was exploring an abandoned building in Ajman, UAE, a place many people refuse to enter. 20 minutes in, he found out exactly why. A dark, towering shape appeared at the far end of the hallway. Hassan didn't run. He held his ground and kept reciting religious verses,
ماذا بك أيها اللعين.
which seemed to be the only thing keeping it at a distance. The Jinn tried to come closer, but not enough to do anything dangerous, and that's exactly why he was able to walk out of there safely later.
قل ربي إني أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Shadow stalker. In 2019, someone recording from their house in Lagos, Nigeria, caught something deeply unsettling on camera. A man was walking through the streets, and he wasn't truly alone. A shadow figure was walking right behind him, following his every move, and the man didn't look back even once, which meant he didn't know he was being followed. Do you think it was an evil entity? Neighborhood haunting. A security camera in Duluth, Minnesota recorded a bone-chilling sight at 2 a.m. on the 14th of March, 2023. Multiple human-shaped shadow figures appeared out of nowhere and began moving down the street, walking together in complete silence. Here's the creepiest part. People had been reporting strange things in that neighborhood for months, but no one really had proof. This was the first time anything had actually been caught on camera, and now the residents are convinced that their neighborhood is haunted. Invisible walker. Something completely impossible was caught on this security camera in Jacksonville, Florida. The homeowner, named Will Roberts, got a motion alert on his phone late at night and saw a pair of shadowy feet walking across the area, but there was nothing above them. If it were a camera glitch, everything else in the frame would have been distorted too, but the surroundings looked completely normal, and those feet were the only strange part. So, now the man wants viewers to confirm if that was a ghost or not. Frantic woman.
This is the home where the camera captured the screams and the car speeding away. A neighbor told me she saw the struggle happening just 2 doors down, and it left her terrified.
Now this one's really disturbing. In Los Angeles, California, this homeowner heard a woman's screams echoing in the neighborhood. So she stepped out to investigate. The cries were coming from inside a white car that sped past. Although we don't see it on camera, this homeowner later informed the authorities that something really disturbing had been happening inside that car. Later, police investigated the area and eventually located a woman being held against her will nearby. The man responsible was identified as Robert Mendez and charged with attempted kidnapping. She was taken to the hospital and made a full recovery. Horse ghost. For months, Residents of this neighborhood in Louisville, Kentucky, had been hearing the sound of hooves hitting the pavement at night. Nobody could explain it, since there were no horses anywhere nearby. Then a security camera finally caught what was making the sound. A dark form shaped exactly like a horse came sprinting down the empty street, and right behind it, a faint lighter shape followed at the exact same speed. When residents saw this video, they were all terrified. Unknown man. A woman stepped outside her home in Savannah, Georgia, late at night with her dog completely relaxed. But she was in for a terrifying surprise. She switched on the porch light, and when she turned around, a man was sitting in her chair, watching her silently. The creepiest part was that she didn't know him at all. She had no idea how long he'd been there. Out of pure fear, she bolted back inside. But before she could call the police, he casually walked away. Doorstep stalker. A mother returning home had no idea someone was walking right behind her. For 3 days, she had noticed the same man following her everywhere, so she had been careful. But this time her guard was down. She was distracted on a phone call and forgot to lock the gate, and the stalker walked straight in behind her. The moment she noticed him, she panicked, but her neighbor happened to be outside. She called out for help, and the second the neighbor stepped forward, the stalker left. She really got lucky that day. Black magic. While at a public event in Cairo, Egypt, a woman was standing in a crowd when the elderly lady right behind her reached out and pressed something small and sharp into the woman's shoulder in a very deliberate way. The woman turned around, clearly startled, but the old lady just acted like nothing strange had happened. The whole interaction lasted just a few seconds. But after the video circulated online, viewers immediately recognized it as a ritualistic gesture that people use for dark practices. They believe the elderly woman had performed black magic on her. Uninvited guest. A woman named Sarah Mitchell in Aurora, Colorado, got the scare of her life when this unexpected visitor showed up at her door. She had long, tangled white hair, sunken eyes, and an unsettling expression. Her movements were erratic, and it looked like she was desperately trying to find a way inside. Sarah was so frightened, she refused to open the door, and that's when things got even worse. The woman actually tried climbing up the side of the house to get in, but after failing, she finally gave up and disappeared. No control. This one left viewers genuinely scared for the man in the video. On the 8th of April, 2022, a man stood up, but then something went very wrong. It seemed like he completely lost control of his body. He only reacted once he was on the ground, and seemed genuinely confused. Now, some viewers think he had a sudden medical issue, others think he got possessed for a moment, and I think he just forgot he was leaning on that object. Home alone. A woman in Spokane, Washington was alone at home while her husband worked a late shift. She got a motion alert from her Ring camera and checked the feed, which scared her witless. A strange man was crawling up the porch. It wasn't clear what his intention was. Then he began testing the door. The woman was terrified that he might break in, and after what felt like forever, the man gave up and walked away without forcing his way in. She called her husband immediately, who came home early that night. Pure terror. You need to brace yourself for this one. A man in Akron, Ohio had been hearing loud banging somewhere in his house late at night. So he slowly made his way to one of the doors and went inside. And whatever was in there sent him flying back out. He screamed and scrambled away from the doorway as fast as he could. We never see what was inside that room that scared him so much, and the uploader hasn't described it either. So what do you think it was? Comment below. Ghostly footsteps. On the 3rd of August, 2023, this dog outside a home in Jaipur, India, kept barking non-stop, like it sensed something the camera couldn't pick up. Then, it finally showed up on camera. There was a strange, shadowy form moving across the street. Only the legs were visible with absolutely nothing above them. Before the dog could start chasing it, the shadowy legs ran out of there really fast. One-sided conversation. This man in Jalapa, Veracruz, Mexico, had been walking down the street when he stopped and started talking to someone, only no one else really showed up on camera. He was having a full-on conversation, but when he checked the CCTV footage later, he realized what was really going on. The man wasn't on any medications and didn't have any known psychological conditions that could cause him to hallucinate, which is why he thought he'd been talking to a ghost. Terrifying, right? Terrifying hand. On the 1st of October, 2015, a woman from Houston was relaxing in her home when a strange hand suddenly appeared from behind her and grabbed her forehead. Although it quickly pulled away after a light touch, she was absolutely terrified because she lived completely alone. She moved the furniture and tried to find who or what had touched her, but found nothing. This security camera footage confirmed she hadn't imagined it. Scream for help.
Chilling video was recorded by a doorbell camera at a home here in Arcadia, California, about 20 miles from Los Angeles. The owner sent the footage to cops. They searched the neighborhood and say they found a woman being held captive inside this home.
In this disturbing doorbell cam footage from Arcadia, California, a frantic woman came running towards this house. She was calling out for help desperately. Now keep watching to find out who she had been running from. Keep. A man came from behind her and took her away with him. The terrified homeowners had been watching this entire scene from a small window to avoid getting that man's attention and called the police.
We looked out the side window over here and witnessed him stomping on her and pulling her by her hair. It was awful.
When they searched the area, they found her locked in one of the houses, and the man responsible was identified as Robert Mendez. He was arrested, and the woman needed medical attention, though she made a full recovery.
He was beating on her. Looks like he would have been stomped on her, dragging her. She had suffered multiple injuries, enough to require hospital attention.
Motion alert. A family in Roswell, New Mexico got a motion alert from their outdoor security camera late one night. They pulled up the live feed expecting to see an animal or maybe a neighbor walking by. What they saw instead terrified them. A large gray head with a distinctly alien-like shape was walking past their home. The skin was gray, and it didn't look like any known creature because its proportions were too bizarre. It didn't reappear after that, but now the family checked that camera every single night. Breaking in. In Fairfield, California, a Ring camera captured a terrifying moment outside a family home. A man in black walked to the front door and demanded to be let inside. He kept asking about the homeowner's daughter.
Where's your daughter, man? What are you talking about?
While claiming to be a famous urban legend character. Even after being told to leave multiple times, he refused.
Can you leave my house, please? Can you open the door, please?
And suddenly his behavior turned really dangerous. He even tried to break the camera. While the mother and daughter had been still inside, he managed to slide in through a glass door. The husband stepped in and the altercation turned ugly, but in the end, police arrived and finally arrested him. Doorbell ghost.
One of our very shy and retiring executive producers, Brian, got seriously spooked this weekend when he saw a notification from his home security system that there was a movement on his front porch.
Watch, look at that.
And then saw this from his video front door cam.
One weekend, a man received a motion alert from his home security camera, and what he saw completely freaked him out. The footage showed a strange, glowing figure floating near the front door, moving in an unnatural way before suddenly disappearing from view. The shape looked almost transparent. The man said the sight scared him so badly that he considered leaving the house that night. When he shared the video, viewers said it could have been an insect, Or maybe a light reflection too, but the man is convinced it was something supernatural. Do you agree with him? Now, if you think this was the strangest video you saw today, hit the subscribe button, because I've got more shocking things to show you next. Thank you for watching.